Hello grade 8s, this is Mr. Miller and welcome to lesson 8.5 on applying integer operations. So first of all, let's just talk about all the operations and the order of operations. So I think most of you know about bed mass. We start with brackets and the operations that are within them. We do exponents. We do division and multiplication simultaneously, and we go from left to right. Addition and subtraction can be done simultaneously, and again you go from left to right. So in this first example, we have a multiplication, addition, and division. So multiplication and division are on the same level here, and so you can actually do both the multiplication and division at the same time. So 5 times negative 3 gives you negative 15, and negative 6 divided by positive 3 gives you negative 2. So you can do both of those in one step. Then you have to do the addition last, so you're doing negative 15 plus negative 2, which gives you negative 17. Next example, part B, we've got an addition, a subtraction, but it's inside the brackets. So that is the very first letter B in the bed mass for brackets, and that means the operations inside the brackets, and so that subtraction needs to be done first. Then it looks like the multiplication will be done and the addition last. So, showing one step at a time, we're going to do the subtraction, but prefer to add the opposite because I find that people make fewer mistakes this way. So 7 plus 4, that gives you 11. Now you can multiply that by 2, you get 22, and adding negative 13 to that, you get 9 as your final answer. Next we've got a subtraction, a division, and an addition. So obviously the first step is going to be the division. So 10 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 5. And now we're down to subtraction and addition. And with addition and subtraction, you should go from left to right. So we're going to do the negative 2 take away negative 5 first. But as I've said before, subtracting, people tend to make a lot of mistakes. So let's change it to adding the opposite. So negative 2 adding positive 5, and then adding 8 afterwards. So negative 2 plus 5 will give you 3. And if you add 8 to that, then you will get 11 as your final answer. Let's take a look at the next set of questions. In number 2, it says, in his last football game, Mountain, who plays running back, carried the ball 7 times with the following results. Gained 2 yards, gained 1 yard, gained 0 yards, lost 3 yards, and gained 34 yards, lost 1 yard. And finally, gained 16 yards. So the first question is, what is the total amount of yards Mountain gained after 7 carries? So if you add all these things together, now the gain 2 yards, I could write it as plus 2, but I'd prefer just to write it as 2. There's a gain of 1, there's nothing gained or lost, there's a 3-yard loss, 34-yard gain, there's the 1-yard gain, and the 16 yards gained. So adding all those things together, we've got 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 0 is 3, plus negative 3 is 0, plus 34 is 34, plus negative 1 is 33, and plus 16 gives you a total of 49. So to answer the question, this is a gain of 49 yards overall. The next question is asking what was Mountain's mean. And just so you know, mean is the same as average. So the average gain per carry. So you'd take the total yards, 49, and divide it by how many carries there were, 7. And that gives you the average number of yards per carry, which is 7 yards per carry. Next we've got number 3. It says add all the integers from negative 6 up to positive 5 inclusive. So here they are. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. If you add all those together, the interesting thing here is that we've got a 0 in the middle. Negative 1 plus positive 1 is 0. Negative 2 plus positive 2 is 0. We've got negative 3 and positive 3, negative 4 and positive 4, negative 5 and positive 5. All those things add to 0. The only thing remaining is 6. So the average, or the mean, is taking 6 and dividing by how many numbers there are. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 numbers. So 6 divided by 12, you probably figure that out, it is 1/2. So that's the average of all those integers. Next, we've got a little bit of a challenge here. We'd like to place brackets to get the following results. So in part A, we've got all these operations, and if you did this, 4 plus negative 2 times positive 6 take away 1, you would not actually get negative 6. So we have to figure out how to do this differently in order to get a value of negative 6. And so you may want to try to see if you can do that on your own first. Then afterwards you can come back to the video and take a look to see if you got it right. Ready for the big reveal? Here it is. One set of brackets around the positive 6 take away 1. Because if you're forcing that to be done first, you get 5. Of course, the multiplication has to be done next, so negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. If you're adding 4 to that, that'll give you negative 6. So at the end of all this, we learned that putting the brackets here will make the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side now. Part B, you can see we've got exactly the same expression, and if you were to calculate this, you would not get 11. So how do we get 11? Well, by putting some brackets in, but where should they go? See if you can figure out where the brackets should go. Pause the video, give it a shot yourself, and then come back. Alright, so let's see if you've got it right. Here's where the brackets go this time. 4 plus negative 2. When you are forcing the 4 to be added with the negative 2 first, you get 2. And if you multiply that by 6, you get 12, and take away 1, that's 11. So, putting the brackets around the first operation will make this equation true now. And we've got one more. Where do you think we should put the brackets for this one? Notice it's the same numbers, same operations, everything. We've got a completely different value. So where should we put the brackets? Try it yourself. Ready for the big reveal? Here it is. Brackets here, brackets there. So if we're forcing the 4 plus negative 2 to be done first, that's going to give us 2 as we had before, and the 6 minus 1 first as well, simultaneously, that gives us 5. So we've got a 2 and we've got a 5, and we do 2 times 5, that gives us 10. So there you go, 2 sets of brackets, one here, and another set here, and that will make the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. Oh, sorry, there is one more here, part D. So where do you think we should place brackets here in order to get negative 9? You might want to try it yourself first. Are you ready for the answer? Here it comes. Brace yourself. no brackets. So when you don't put any brackets, the operation that's done first is negative 2 times 6, which gives you negative 12. Now we're down to addition and subtraction. Of course, we go from left to right, so I'm going to do the 4 plus negative 12 first. That gives me negative 8, and subtracting 1 from that, well, I prefer to add the opposite, so adding negative 1 instead of subtracting positive 1. So negative 8 plus negative 1 gives me negative 9. So there you go. No brackets necessary. The left-hand side will be equal to the right-hand side. Ladies and gents, that is the end of lesson 8.5, and that is the end of chapter 8. At this point, we'll be doing a review and getting ready for a test. Hope that you understood everything here in this lesson. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in class. And we'll see you then.